Okay, good morning children. Now we are going to discuss about the three different types of nervous system. That is central nervous system. First will come. We have told already what are the parts of central nervous system, the brain and spinal cord. Being delicate, vital structures are well protected in bony cavities of the skull. So, the brain and spinal cord is covered by bony structure. The brain is covered by the bony structure which is called the skull, and spinal cord is protected by the bony structure which is called the vertebral column. Underlined there also. So, skull is protecting the brain, vertebral column is protecting the spinal cord. CNS is formed of two types, that is white matter. Already I have told white matter means what type of nerves will be present, myelinated nerves. And the grey matter with respect to the presence or absence of myelin sheath. If myelin sheath is present, which is called the myelinated nerves, and due to the presence of myelinated nerves, the area will be considered as white matter. And when the actions will be not covered by myelin sheath, that type of nerves are called non-myelinated nerves, and due to the presence of non-myelinated nerves, the area will be considered as grey matter, as we have discussed earlier. That's why I told. Now next part we are going to discuss the brain is the controlling center of all the body activities. It is covered by three membranes, three connective tissue membrane. Together they are called the meninges. If you see, this is the brain structure has been shown, and this is the three membranes are there. In sequence you have to keep in your memory. Don't memorize like outermost and innermost. Middle one you are not saying. You have to keep in your memory either from outside to inside or inside to outside. So brain is protected by three consecutive connective tissue membrane. Together they are called the meninges. Now from outside we will be discussing, that is outermost membrane is called the dura mater. The red color you can see, which is considered as the dura mater. So dura mater, dura the word has come from the tough, matter means membrane, is the outermost thick fibrous membrane. Middle layer, middle membrane is called the arachnoid membrane. Arachnoid matter or arachnoid membrane also can be seen. Arachnoid means arachnoid means spider, is the middle thin vascular membrane providing web-like cushion. Web-like means very thin and net-like structure because of the presence of blood vessels which are supplying blood to the different parts of the brain. Innermost layer is called the pia mater. If you see the diagram, that is the bluish color. Middle layer is considered as the middle layer is a violet color, the pink color, and this one is the pia mater, that is violet color, which is considered as the pia mater. Pia means soft or tender, is the innermost thin delicate membrane richly supplied with blood. So these are the three membranes to connective tissue membrane. Together they are called the meninges. Now next, meningeal membranes protect the brain from mechanical injury. Now next part we are going to discuss meningitis. Meningitis is a type of disease which is what is the meaning of meningitis? The inflammation of the membrane or inflammation of the meninges, called the meningitis. Name of the disease is called meningitis. Any infection may take place in the meninges. Then the disease name is called the meningitis. It can occur when fluid surrounding the meninges become infected. The most common causes of meningitis are viral and bacterial infection. That was just now I told when infection takes place. Now human brain is formed of three main parts. What are the three main parts? The first part is called the forebrain, second part, middle region, is called the midbrain, and the innermost or the third part or outermost region is called the hindbrain. So if you see here also it has been given certain structures we will be discussing along with the writing. forebrain is formed of cerebrum and diencephalon. This diencephalon is having two parts, thalamus and hypothalamus, dorsal thalamus and ventral hypothalamus. Now one by one we will show three parts. Actually forebrain is having three parts, cerebrum, thalamus, hypothalamus. But here cerebrum and diencephalon, diencephalon again it is divided into two parts, thalamus and hypothalamus. Thalamus, dorsal region is called the thalamus and ventral region is called the hypothalamus. Now one by one, cerebrum. Cerebrum is generally, underline the largest portion, forming nearly occupying two-third portion of the brain. The cerebrum is longitudinally divided into two halves as right and left cerebral hemispheres by a deep cleft, which is folding. Cleft is nothing but the folding, which is called the median cleft, which divides the brain into two hemispheres. So two cerebral hemispheres are interconnected by a thick band of nervous tissue, which is called the corpus callosum. Outer portion of each cerebral hemisphere is formed of grey matter, where the neurons are non-myelinated, grey matter, and is called the cerebral cortex. So outer portion of the brain is called the cerebral cortex. Suppose here the diagram is the outer portion, it is called cerebral cortex, it is marked. And inner region of the cerebrum, which is made up of myelinated nerve, is called the cerebral medulla. So cerebral cortex, the outer portion of each cerebral hemisphere is formed of grey matter and is called cerebral cortex. The inner or deeper part of the brain is formed of white matter, which is called the cerebral medulla. Cortex is extensively folded. You can see the folds are there. These are the folds. Like this way it will be folded. Like this way the folding will be there to increase the surface area so that it can accommodate more and more nerves. So the cortex is extremely folded, forming the elevations called the gyri. With depression between the gyri, they are called the sulci. Between the gyri, termed as sulci. That increase the surface area of the brain. Increase the surface area of the brain. Now next one, each cerebral hemisphere is divisible into frontal lobe, parietal lobe. Four parts are there: frontal, parietal, temporal and occipital lobe. These lobes are also known as cerebral lobes and are associated with specific functions. Any damage in the specific lobe in turn affects its function. If we suppose occipital lobe, its main function is to see the object. So what will happen if that part is affected? Person will be not able to see the object clearly. So any lobe has been affected, then particular function also will be affected. The cerebrum is responsible for the thinking. Underline there what are the functions apart from the cerebrum, both the hemispheres: thinking, intelligence, consciousness, memory, imagination, reasoning and willpower. These are the functions of cerebrum. Now come to the thalamus. Thalamus present in cerebral medulla. Thalamus present in cerebral medulla is a major conducting center for sensory and motor signaling. It acts as relay center. So third part is called the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus, it lies at the base of the thalamus, controls involuntary functions like hunger, thirst, sleep, sweating, sexual desire, anger, fear, water balance, blood pressure, etc. It acts as thermoregulatory. One mark question: regulate the body temperature. Thermoregulatory means regulate the temperature of our body. The thermoregulatory center of the body. It controls the secretions of hormones from the anterior pituitary gland and is an important link between nervous system and the endocrine system. So which part of the brain play an important role? But the link system link system between the important link between the nervous system and the endocrine system, that is the hypothalamus. Now second part is called the midbrain, located between the thalamus and hindbrain. The dorsal portion of the midbrain consists of 4 rounded bodies. They are called corpora quadrigemina that control the visual and auditory reflexes. Third part is called the hindbrain. It is formed of 3 parts again: cerebellum, pons, and medulla oblongata. Now, this cerebellum. First part we will be discussing cerebellum. It is the second largest portion of the brain. It has 2 large brain formed of 2 large size hemispheres and middle vermis. 2 hemispheres are there, middle vermis. It coordinates the voluntary movements and also maintain the body balance. When I will take the class, I will be explaining and showing also. Now next one, second part is called the pons. Pons is a Latin word meaning the bridge. It forms the bridge between. It is a bridge of nerve fiber that connects the lobes of the cerebellum. It relays signals between the cerebellum, spinal cord, midbrain and cerebrum. It controls the respiration and sleep cycle. The functions are very, very important. Now third part is called medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata is the posterior most part of the brain that connects the spinal cord and the various parts of the brain. It has cardiac centers, respiratory centers, vasomotor centers of the centers to control the heartbeat, respiration and contractions of blood vessels respectively. It also regulates the vomiting and salivation. Now inside the box has been given the function, name of the part of the brain, cerebral cortex. Then what are the functions? Thalamus, what is the function? Hypothalamus, what is the function? Say in book the question, that one. Cerebellum, what is the function? Cerebellum, what is the function? Now pons and medulla oblongata, what are the functions? These functions are very brain parts and the functions. Till here. Okay, thank you children.